in the beginning of the year, my grandmother, she was going to turn 101 a week after she died normally. So she's like really, she had a full life, but like the 15, I think the 10 last 15 10 years, she wasn't really there anymore. She was kind of mentally gone. But I had a conversation after her funeral with my brother, and he managed all the finances and so on because he lived really close to her. And it ended up that she had a couple of €1,000 in her bank account left over. And I'm like, bro, you've done all the work. I don't need any inheritance. You just keep the stuff and whatever. And I was saying, she was in a home, and the only things that we still had from her, from her whole life, were picture books, which these days for us is always a challenge because we've got everything on our phones or digitally somewhere, and a carton box with an old clock in there, and a couple of trinkets. And I was like, wow, do I want to do that, end up with in a cardboard box as being the last thing of my life? And it kind of confirmed as well where I've had the enormous drive to create a legacy,
Hmm.
and the only way that I know to do that is by spreading my knowledge, my experience. I do a lot of spiritual work. I do deep spiritual work. I work with tarots and stuff like that. But I don't, that's not woo woo. It's really learning things from these visual things that can aid you in going deeper within yourself, and all those beautiful things like symbology and all of that stuff. And I've learned a lot of things on personal development level that have aided me to look at the world completely differently.
Hmm.
And where, to me, things like what happens to you each day, there's always cause and effect story going on. And if you're one of these people who has a good view of what you want to do in 5 years, these things come to fruition. If you're doing it for tomorrow, it's going to come into fruition as well. It's going to be a smaller step maybe, but these things in 5 years, you're looking at the long term, and you know that you want to create something bigger. It's like, for me, the legacy thing is like within like 40, 50 years. I always said to my friends, I'll be 140, I guaranteed. And they're like, no, 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 that's not possible. And they're like,